Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. What's going on? Hope everybody had a great weekend. Hope Neil, we were talking about beforehand, had a great American Thanksgiving. And it was a great day for me off too, because a lot of the people that we work with in the US didn't mean a whole lot on Thursday. So we also took a day off.
Kyle didn't get a lot of code please messages that day, that's for sure.
Oh, that was nice. You know what's funny though is I do, but I now can like ignore them because everybody should be in the Gmail, which is great.
I would like to think at this point that everybody for me, I kind of did a different strategy. I just never signed out. So I just never asked. That's like,
Yes.
That's like the thing that's good for me is that because I never signed out of the email, like I don't have to ask ever, which is good.
Yeah, I know. That's
awesome.
what I hope for. Overall, good weekend. Good long weekend for you. Must have been nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I went to a bunch. I did a double hockey day on Saturday. I saw the New York Sirens against.
I was watching that game actually.
The Sirens game?
The Sirens game. I was watching that game. I was in my hotel room. We were at our hotel room on Saturday, and I caught the third period of that game.
Yeah. It was the Sirens home opener. Second year in a row that I did the home opener, and they dominated the game. They beat Vancouver 5-1.
Beat the crap out of them, yeah.
Sirens 2-1-0 to start the year. I mean, this is a team that has finished dead last in the first 2 years of the PWHL. And you're just hoping from the local area. You're hoping that this team could be really good. A lot of excitement, sold out crowd. It was great.
And then sold out in Seattle too.
Sold out in Seattle. What 19,000 at where the Kraken play? I think that's where they played that game.
Yeah. It was in. It was.
And then Vancouver played a sold out crowd at the Pacific. Is that what they call it?
Pacific Coliseum. Yep.
Right.
Pacific Coliseum. Yep.
Right. And then I went to the Devils game against the Flyers. That was the Hockey Fights Cancer night.
I got a funny thing to tell you, actually.
That game was so frustrating because, like, I don't know, it's just one of those games where, and you've seen it, Kyle, where like the team plays like crap for like 2 periods. You're down by 2 or 3 goals. Then you start making this ferocious comeback. You cut the deficit to 1 with like 11 minutes to go in the game, and you just can't get the next goal and you lose.
Yeah.
And it
was funny because Daniel Ladar beat Jacob Markstrom in that game.
I was going to message you about that. And what's funny is that Dan Vladar has a unbelievable like stat line against the Devils in his career. And that was probably the worst game he played. But I mean, it is what it is. Like, I think it was still a great night, a lot of fun. And I like doing doubles. When you have the opportunity to do it, I highly recommend if you can. I mean, obviously it's not possible in a lot of cities, but there was a lot of big hockey. There was also college hockey at Madison Square Garden.
Well, so before you move on, though, I have a very funny story, though, real quick, because my significant other, who we're in a survivor pool at her workplace, right?
Okay.
And so it's you, like, and you do it like once a month, and you put like $10 in. It goes towards some dancing team here in town, whatever, right?
Okay.
It's just to support it, right? But anyway, it's a fun thing.
Sure.
And so you pick a team that you think is going to win, and it started on Saturday, and so the next date would be like tomorrow, right? Where you would pick a team to win a game, but you can't pick the same team, and it's a survivor thing. You
only pick one team.
Only one team. So you do one team that day, but then you can't pick them again on the next date. So like Saturday.
Yeah. Okay, I got it.
For example, she picked Edmonton on Saturday. They won. And Tuesday, she's got Vancouver or something like that, right? So you just, whatever. You have this, and it's the longest person who can survive the longest, right? And whoever survives the longest wins the pot, right? I had New Jersey on Saturday.
Oh, jeez.
You
should have picked them Friday.
Bro, I had to pick them. I realized this. I picked them before Jack Hughes got injured.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, I get it.
Well, this was a little far back, right? Because they have to prepare it.
Yeah, they didn't
and they'll be a new one again, like, and it'll start up again. Like they'll do another one, like whoever wins, like for the first little bit here, they'll run it up again the new year. This is the second time this year we've done it. The first time around, like I lasted 4 games, so I had 3 teams win in a row.
Wow. Good for you.
So it might get better, though, because now you're going to start seeing some separation, hopefully, and you're going to finally figure out what teams are good and who teams are not.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, like it's Philly, like you should be okay, and then they weren't. So
Well,
I'm out, and she's moving on to the next day. So
yeah, I mean
that was
the
tough.
certainly had the Devils' number in the first 2 games of the season this year, just like scoring goals like crazy. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's fortunate. So we
And the
all
funniest thing is, out of all of this, and we're gonna get into Flames talk here because it matters, right? So they play on, I believe, so they'll play tomorrow in Nashville, right? That's gonna be Tank Bowl like crazy. We'll talk
that's
about
Tank
that,
Bowl and its
right?
finest.
So one of the days in this survivor pool is Thursday. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
She picked Calgary at home against Minnesota. And I went,
Okay.
oh, that's not
Well,
good.
with her luck, with how good she's been, she's probably going to be right, and they're going to find a way
Oh,
to win that
probably.
game.
Oh, it's gonna be something
I mean,
stupid. Like they're gonna
I mean, you
win.
look at
Like,
Minnesota's been really good of late. I mean, really good.
yo,
They've really
Wallstead's been unbelievable.
Wallstead.
Holy
You
crap.
know what's so funny is he got a shutout against the Oilers, and I'm thinking to myself, I'll never forget when the Oilers traded their pick to Minnesota
Yeah.
so that the Wild could take Wallstead. And I was saying, even then, I was like,
Yeah.
don't the Oilers need goaltending? Wouldn't this be like the right time to pick Wallstead? And they didn't. And I'm like, now it's
Bro,
just
makes no sense. We'll get into all that. Let's start with Flames talk though, finally. First, before we get into the Southeast road trip in which the Flames went 1-1-1, we
yeah.
have actually extensions to talk about, and it goes into the conversation that we had last week in the tangent
You
that we
shut us all
had.
up, didn't it?
And
I
at
hate
first, it shut everybody up because all of a sudden, so the story was this. And this is pertaining to, for those who can't see, Craig Conroy got extended, as well as President of Hockey Operations Don Maloney, Senior VP of Hockey Operations and Assistant General Manager Dave Nonis, and VP of Hockey Operations Brad Pascal. All got extensions for 2 years. Most notably, though, it was Craig Conroy, right? So everybody was saying this like last week and the week before, and this was coming after Don Maloney's comments, right? So he does the interview with Eric Francis, right? And comes out on Sportsnet, and everybody's pissed. Everybody's saying fire Don Maloney, right? The extensions come out, right? Days later, last week, right? And you messaged me about it to let me know. You were the first one to tell me that. I was doing dishes. I was doing dishes, and I got Siri telling me in my ear, Neil Villapiano says Craig Conroy extended. Hilarious, right? So I'm like, oh shit, no way. So we find that out. But the stupid thing of all this was this. These extensions were signed months ago.
Oh, yeah.
About 2 months ago.
Oh, yeah.
Before the season started, the extensions were in place. And they chose late last week to decide, you know what, I think we'll decide to announce it now.
The timing is crazy.
Right. So my question to you to start this conversation is why? Why now?
I have a good idea as to why. I have an idea. I think ownership was not entirely thrilled with the way Don Maloney went about that interview with Francis. And I think that the reaction that Flames Nation had to that, including us,
sure,
I think definitely made Flames ownership uncomfortable. Especially
Marie Edwards specifically. Yeah.
Right. But I was going to say with Craig Conroy specifically, because we were talking about it, we were saying, you know, this trade deadline or even leading up to it is going to be fascinating because how Craig Conroy goes about this may ultimately determine his status moving forward with the Flames. Well, now, basically, what I'm seeing from this is this. Either one of two things, Kyle. Either one, Craig Conroy is totally content with doing whatever Don Maloney and co tell him to do, or they simply just wanted to get the monkey off, not the monkey, get like the pressure off of their back and this negative attention so that Flames fans could go, oh, well, that's good. We keep Craig Conroy. Because the other three guys, they didn't need to be extended. They haven't proven to me anything that they deserve to be here. But again, it goes back to us saying last week, the old boys club. That's where a lot of this comes from. And so
it is.
The timing is so It's so
It's
funny.
pathetic, the timing of it, man.
It's sad because we're not stupid. None of us is stupid. We know why this happened. And Elliot Friedman talked about it. I swear he talked about it. He goes,
He did.
He said something along the lines of like, the timing is really interesting. And you could tell by the tone of his voice, he knows as well as all of us know that like,
it's bullshit.
If that interview with Francis doesn't happen, does this get announced? I wonder.
Right. So, but here's my thing. The extensions were already in place. It was a done deal before the season began.
Sure.
So what are you waiting for?
Yeah.
Like what? Like, okay, so let's hypothetical here for a second. The Flames have a great start to the season, right? You announce it late last week, let's just say, right?
Sure.
Oh, all of a sudden Murray Edwards is a genius, right? Oh, we all look at like, oh wow, like he's like, they all deserve it, right? This was clearly after what Don Maloney did, right? They were waiting for the right point to announce it, right?
Sure.
Like, and either way, it was basically what this was going to do, because we're not dumb, is it was going to either go two ways here. It was going to get fans really excited based on if they had a great start to the year, right?
Right.
Or where we are in reality today is fans were going to be pissed off because Don Maloney was an idiot, and that's taken out of context here for a second. Or you're going to get fans who are kind of left scratching their heads and looking for more answers. It was great that Craig Conroy got the extension.
Right.
Fantastic. Right. And I think well-deserved. He needs to have an extension. He needs to see this through. Right.
Sure.
Unlike some people in college football that we just talked about.
Oh, jeez.
But with this, why the rest of them? Why do the rest of them deserve the same pedestal as Conroy?
Doesn't it?
Of course it does. So the only way we're going to find out an answer to this question is why now, is we're going to have to wait. Because like I said last week, it's going to matter what they're going to do here, right?
Yeah.
Now, so you get the extension done. Now we're going to find out. Okay, so he gets the extension done here. Who's he really following here, right? Is this all his doing here, or is this all going to be from behind the ears? Because last thing, and I'll switch it back to you.
Sure.
When the extensions were made, I feel like I'm all over the place here. I can't get my point across. They had, so here it is. With Craig Conroy's interview, after the extension was announced, they talked to Craig Conroy, and they also talked to Don Maloney again after the extensions were made.
Right.
It sounded like two completely different conversations here.
Mm-hmm.
Because Conroy's always alluded to the fact that we need to work through the draft and we need to work through getting our young players inserted into the lineup here, while Don Maloney, on the other hand, wanted 35-year-old Nazem Kadris.
Yep.
So we're about to find out whose path are we really following here. Is it Conroy's, right? Or is it going to be Don Maloney's, right?
Right.
Who's going to have more of a say here, right? So I think that's going to be, for me, it's still going to be the most interesting part here, right? Because clearly you have two sides that are not with each other here. And these extensions were made before any of these comments were made. So these were made months ago. So I'm curious, we're all curious just to see where this is going to lead to and how this team is going to be managed in the next few months.
I'm trying to find it in the interview that we talked about last week. Don Maloney said something about Craig Conroy, and it was kind of telling.
Okay.
Well, it's confusing. It's confusing to me because on the one hand, he was saying basically that, like, we're still evaluating everything. We're trying to figure out what the next step is, and we like what Craig has done. and things like that, but we're still evaluating. And it was like, if the extensions were made months ago, why are you speaking like you're still not sure if Craig Conroy is the guy that you want moving forward? If you like what he's done, why are you then saying we're still evaluating everything?
And you know what? That's exactly
it.
you know what, actually? You
That's
totally hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah.
We talked about it last week. We went through his whole interview. And
yeah.
Don Maloney was not, God, you're so right on this. He was not going to comment on Craig Conroy's, why haven't you extended him yet?
Yeah.
He wasn't willing to, he barely said 5 words about it. Well, mind you, he knew that the extensions were coming because everything was a done deal, right? And like, he could have said something there. Why not? It wouldn't have been a bad thing. It would have been a bad
thing. Like, we have the utmost confidence in Craig Conroy in the present and in the future. That way you're not saying anything, but you're also still saying something. By you saying we like what Craig Conroy has done, but we're still evaluating. What that tells me is that you're still not fully 100% confident that Craig Conroy is the guy you want moving forward. But then you signed him to this extension. Now, maybe Don Maloney is saying this in the sense of, we're still looking at it, and it doesn't mean that we can't fire him. Of course, Craig Conroy could be fired today after this extension. He could, because it's only a 2-year extension. It's not that long.
Sure.
But I think also it being only 2 years, again, tells you the same point that Don Maloney was saying. That I don't think that the Flames organization as a whole firmly is backing Craig Conroy. I think that they still want to go off of what Elliot Friedman said months ago about the reality that the ownership of the Flames wants this team to be relatively competitive by the time we get to the new building. Now, that's in 2 years, more or less 2 years.
Says something about that extension.
It says something about that extension, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Because by that time, the expectation, we would like to hope, especially getting more of the younger guys into the lineup and developing, that's a relatively competitive team. That maybe we get to where we were last year, where we were basically in the playoff hunt until the very last point in the season. Like, again, I'm not against extending Craig Conroy. You and I have been advocates for Craig Conroy to stick around since the beginning.
See this through.
The problems that we have is this. Why are the other 3 numbnuts all being extended at the same time for the same length, by the way?
Yeah.
And why did Don Maloney speak like they're still not sure that Craig Conroy is the guy? If this extension happened over the week after this interview happened, okay.
Sure.
Then I see what we're talking about here. But this was signed months ago. This was determined months ago. So why now? And the answer is simple. They wanted to cover for what Don Maloney said in the interview with Eric Francis.
We're not stupid.
To put put a brave face over it and be like, oh, look at us. Aren't we doing good, Flames fans? And it's like, you did one good thing, right? Like,
everybody was clamoring about a Conroy extension. Okay, that's great. We don't want the other numbnuts here.
We didn't ask for the other 3 to get extended.
I want to punch Dave. Oh, man, what I would do to Dave Notice, man. I can't stand him.
He sucked in Vancouver. He sucked
in Toronto. He gives no
value. I mean, like how many?
At least he works under Craig. At least here he works under Craig. He's not the one making the decisions. At the end of the day,
don't think for a second that Notice isn't trying to give him advice.
Right. He doesn't have to take it though.
Of course.
So the only man and you see, like, it's funny. Is it me, or when you look at the graphics here, right? For those of you who can't see, it's Don Maloney on the left, Craig, Dave, Pascal. That is the line of authority.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
100%.
So like, man, these next couple of months are going to be fascinating to watch. But like,
we got to see what happens with these veteran players. Like, are we actually going to do the thing that we all pretty much expect them to do and should do? And that is, with some of the guys that we have, Anderson, Coleman, Kadri, like, are we going to actually consider moving them? Or are now we going to keep them because we want to stay relatively competitive? Like,
Sure.
You don't want to be in that mushy middle. We said it last week. You don't want to be in that middle where, like, you're not good enough to make a run, but you're not bad enough to at least secure top picks. Look, it's true that Gavin McKenna may not be the consensus number 1 overall pick at this point, right? That doesn't mean he still won't be.
I think in some people's eyes, he still probably is number 1, but I understand
don't you think
why
that
not.
Flames fans would want to have the opportunity to draft one or the other at some like this next year, in a year where we have been so dog water with scoring and trying to even be relatively competitive? Like, that should be the ultimate prize right now. And you have to think long term when you're in this position. And I do agree that I think 2 years, I think, is a good amount of time to get more young players into the lineup, develop, and get to the point where we open up that new arena and this team can be relatively competitive. But if the ownership and Don Maloney continue to meddle with this and make it more difficult on Craig Conroy, this team will be stuck in the mushy middle and they'll be
forever
mediocre. Yes.
Forever. Right? Like,
you don't want that.
And I wouldn't blame Craig for leaving, if it's his decision after 2 years from now, because if you look at the line, he has to answer to Don. Don has to answer to Murray Edwards. So it's just this.
Murray Edwards decides if a guy's going to go or not. I mean, Murray Edwards said out loud, Kadri's not available. And I'm like, you're a moron for saying that publicly.
Yeah.
Because
tells me he doesn't know anything about the NHL.
Well,
so
and it's like, you have a valuable asset here as a third line center who has multiple years left on his contract that any team right now, especially cup contending, would be dying to have on their team.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You're like, no, we'd rather keep him. No, we're not at that point yet.
Right. What I'm scared of, and I think we'll get into it right now, is what happened last night. And it's fearful because if you're sitting there in ownership, if you're sitting there with Maloney and such, you're going to look at that like, God, what an awful game that was last night. Oh my God, it was boring. 17-15 were the shots on goal.
The most boring game I've ever watched, I swear.
Right. And it was right. So it's like, this is what ownership is thinking of here, right? Murray or Don or whatever, right?
I know exactly what you're
They're thinking it in the mindset of, man, we pushed the Hurricanes to overtime, man. That's a cup contender, right? Motherfucker, you didn't score on them last night. You had 15 shots on goal.
And then, but they'll take it a step further, Colin. They'll go, oh, look, we're 4-1-1 in our last 6. We must be doing well.
So to recap the road trip, you got boat raced in Tampa. Hilarious.
Oh, what a shock.
Florida, and this is why we're going to get into him with the thumbnail. Devin Cooley has been nothing short of sensational here.
He's
and you got to give him full credit here for the way that he's been able to play here in these last 3 games. I give him full marks. He's been absolutely sensational and probably one of the lone few bright spots for this team.
And it's funny how you didn't want Devin Cooley as the backup to start the year. You didn't want Cooley.
And he shut me up.
He
shut me up. I thought Provistev was the better goaltender, and I wouldn't have liked to. I actually now, I'm more of the line of the fact that the way this season should go, it's like, yeah, screw it, give him more starts, right? Because maybe this is something that Boost is calling. I don't know, right? But I actually, with the way that this is going, I kind of like it. I kind of like the fact that Cooley's playing well because it's going to give him more starts, but it's also going to give a bit of a heads up to Dustin Wolf. Like, hey, man, I understand the season's not going to go well here, but there's always competition with goaltending.
Even though you sign an extension, there's a guy pushing
always. You. This is not discrediting the fact that he's still our number 1 for
100%.
7 years down the road. 100%. It's not discrediting that at all. It's just still a reminder that this is a tough league, man. And it's that's the thing. You're not going to be perfect every single year, right? So again, it's great for Cooley. I'm very happy for him. The fact that he's playing well. He certainly shut me up from the beginning of the year.
You didn't want him as a backup. You did not.
Right. But here's the thing. You couldn't score a goal, right? Doesn't matter you forced these guys to overtime last night in a fucking 0-0 game. You couldn't score a goal on a kid named, what was it?
Bussy.
Yeah,
Bussy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
First career shutout for the kid.
Frankly, this is Carolina's 3rd string goaltender. If it wasn't for Anderson,
Yeah, Anderson's
And
been hurt.
Kochetkov.
So, yeah, Kochetkov.
Right.
I mean,
right. You
literally.
couldn't score a goal on him.
Nope.
You had 15 shots on goal. You couldn't produce offense. And you're going to sit there, and they're thinking about this too. Oh, we got a point from these guys. Man, this must feel good.
No, it
What?
doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Dude, if it wasn't for Devin, give the defense credit the last night too. I thought defense was sensational last night for what it's worth. And again, this has been the story of this team for the last year. And the reason why, for
100%.
whatever reason, they were in a playoff spot last year is because of the fact that your defense was so good. So let's take a look here. Let's look at the game stats. The one goal that was scored. More importantly, let's look at the game stats here. Pretty even on face-off percentage. Nobody really had any power play opportunities here, right? Look at the amount of giveaways the Flames had. The amount of giveaways that they had, right, should have resulted in Carolina probably plotting in 2 or 3 goals, right? Yeah. But they were lucky enough that defensively they held. You got to give them credit. They held the fort there for the most part, right? So, and I don't think for Carolina fans, in the way that I was kind of seeing it on socials last night, was the fact that they just weren't shooting enough. They were just trying to maybe be a little too cutesy with it, be a little bit creative, but it's like you got to find a way to just for a team like Carolina and how they're built systematically, you got to just find a way to get some more shots on goal here. I guarantee you, if they get 10 more shots on goal, they get 27 shots. I guarantee you they find one more goal. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's hard to play against Carolina in general. It is a lot harder when they're at home, especially with that defensive system, because you have to remember, Carolina's not even at full strength on the back end. Slavin is still out. But they have guys that fit into that system so well that they could just kind of put guys in and out and everything. But you can't look at it would be different if we were in a playoff spot or being competitive. Yeah, sure, we could take this game and go, yes, we got a point. Sure, we needed to get more shots. But you can't look at where the Flames are right now, look at this kind of game and say, oh, yeah, we're so close. We're right there. This could happen any night. This literally could happen to anyone.
Sure.
It's not like the Flames are some exception to this rule that, somehow escaped Carolina with a point. No, because other teams have not only beaten Carolina, not only gotten a point, they've beaten Carolina. The Rangers beat them up last week. You know what I mean? It's not impossible. So it's
why we need to start forcing the hand now. Yes. Forget the feelings at this point. Screw it. Fans are clamoring for Tank job from day one of the season here. They are clamoring for it. They love the losses. Keep it up. Rack them up, for God's sakes. And the fact that it goes against what Murray Edwards was saying too. You need more 35-year-old Nazem Kadris. Oh, right. You guys had 15 shots on goal last night because Nazem Kadri did really well last night. I don't get that. What are you smoking here, right? And again, Anderson, his trade value continues to go up. I thought Anderson actually had a good night last night.
Anderson looks really good.
Honestly, the defense as a whole was very good. And I've never questioned this team's defense. I think defensively, you're going to have bad nights. I get that. But defensively as a whole, I still think the Flames, on paper, and once Perek gets back after the World Juniors, you can still make, this is a good defensive unit you can still make here, right? The problem is, it's always been the friggin' offense that you can't get going. As I think Neil has been frozen. Anyway, give him a minute to come back. Man, it's just, oh, there he is. It's just so frustrating to see.
My Wi-Fi sucks. This is how frustrating I am.
Yeah, so I mean, as a whole, okay, so then let's move on to last question here before I go to break. What do you take away from the road trip that we just saw? You get boat raced in Tampa. You win against a Florida team that's banged up. It's had a tough start to the year, right? Maybe they're having it they're having it their way, and I don't think people maybe are certainly surprised by it. And then you have what you saw last night, what we just talked about in Carolina. What do you take away from the 3-game road trip here? If anything.
Yeah, I heard it. I heard it. My answer is simply this. I don't take anything from this road trip. It's a bag of whatever, right? Because you had three
Sure.
different results. And yeah, sure, you got what, 3 out of a possible 6 points. So like I guess there's a positive in the sense of like you had a productive road trip.
Right.
But overall, I don't really see.
And yeah, Neil's Wi-Fi is cutting out a little bit here. Yeah, so we'll give him a second.
No, dude, you know what? I'm switching to my phone. I don't feel like doing
Okay,
this.
go to your phone, come back.
Let me go to my phone and then I'll come back.
Okay, we'll let him. I'll take him out for a second. I'm gonna go into a break here. We'll let him figure that out here for a second. So we'll get into a quick break here. He'll come back. And we'll come back on the other side here. We got some Olympic news as well. We'll continue to talk Flames here after the break. Turkey, touchdowns, and takes. It's Thanksgiving, and the action doesn't stop at the dinner table. Feast on some winnings this holiday with Pick 6, DraftKings' newest pick'em game. Just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats. It's that simple. Pick 6 brings you the upside on other pick'em sites can't touch. The better you perform, the bigger your payout. And it's available in most states, including Texas, California, Georgia, and more. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN. New DraftKings customers can play just $5 and get $50 in Pick 6 credits. You make the call, ride the upsides in partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. And if you have a gambling problem, you can call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Voided where prohibited. One customer bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. Terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos. As we will now get to our chat here about Rakuten. Are you securing the web for the best Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals? Stop it. Get Rakuten. Rakuten is a shopping sidekick that gets you cash back on gifts for everyone on your list. Right now, you can get up to 15% cash back at the stores you love. You can even stack cash back on top of the biggest sales of the year. That's savings on savings. And it's more time shopping and less time searching. With Rakuten, you're always saving at your favorite stores on the things you're already buying. Cashback is automatically added to your account as you shop, and you can get paid via Interac e-transfer, PayPal, or checking. Now's the time to join, and it's up to 15% cashback, and it ends today, Cyber Monday. Plus, new members will receive a welcome bonus after minimum qualifying purchases. You just go to Rakuten.ca, download the app, or install the browser extension. That's Rakuten. Terms and conditions apply. All right. Neil, you doing okay there?
I'm fine.
All right. Fantastic.
I'm pissed. This happens every now and then, but today I can't explain to you what's happening. I give up. It's just, I'm on my phone now. It's fine. Move on.
Things happen. It's okay. Things happen. Move on.
Do you want me to repeat what I said, or you want us to move on? It's fine. I don't.
Sure. If you want to wrap up the conversation here about the road trip, go ahead.
Yeah. Again, you got 3 out of a possible 6 points. Yay. It's just the only thing that has been consistent, I feel like this year, other than the inconsistency with scoring, is Devin Cooley.
Sure.
And I guess that's a positive because you can at least say to yourself, okay, maybe we have a legitimate good backup goaltender for Dustin Wolf, but Dustin Wolf's got to be better in general. I do agree with you that I think the defense has really not been an issue for me throughout the year. Even at some of the games they've gotten blown out like they did against Tampa. It just kind of goes back to the lack of scoring. And it's just going to continue. That's going to continue to be the issue until proven otherwise. So that's what I
get it. Okay. So again, we'll look ahead here. Tomorrow is going to be Tank Bowl, as the Flames will be taking on the Nashville Predators. And again, on Thursday, you get the Wild coming to town as well, to Minnesota taking on the Flames on Thursday. I think this, to me, it's like such a big game on Tuesday because you just want this team to lose. And you want Nashville to just leapfrog here. Very toxic over at organization over there right now in Nashville, based on the fact that they want to get rid of Stamkos and Marchessault. So now free agent signings were a disaster, and apparently Barry Trotz does not know what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's one of those classic things where just because the guy was a great coach doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be a great executive. There are guys that just believe that they just know what they're talking about, that they can go in and do someone else's job better than what their boss was doing, right? And in this situation with Nashville, I mean, the smartest thing they can do is just rip this to shreds. And I think the problem is that you're gonna have to retain so much money from Stamkos, from Marchessault, from other guys like that. I think you legitimately do have to look at moving Yusei Saros. And the problem that you have is that you had an opportunity to do that even last year when his value was still fairly high. But you've kept him, and now he's had a very rough – he hasn't a rough year, but it could be better.
Sure.
I don't know how much better he would make the Oilers if he got traded there, which seems like the very likely place he goes. I mean, other than maybe Jordan Binnington.
If he goes, sure.
If he goes.
Well, apparently the Oilers are in on Tristan Jarry, so.
Cool. They're going to wonderful. Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. I mean, they're going to be on everybody. I mean, they're going to be on everybody to replace Stuart Skinner and or Calvin Pickard. Like, it's just, I think for Nashville, like, I don't know how they're going to move this contract, Kyle. I really don't. I don't know either. Nobody's going to want to take those deals. Like, even at retain, like, what's the most that you could retain, right? 50%?
50, yeah, I believe 50% is the most that you can.
So 50%, what is Stamkos even making? Like $8 million? Something like that?
Yeah, I believe he's making, I think it's 9.5 if I'm not mistaken.
So half of 9.5 is like about 4 something? Like,
yes.
I can say, okay, the money wise with the cap going up is not a big deal. 4+, but the guy is just not the same player that he once was.
Right.
And I mean, maybe if he goes to a competitive team, maybe he like finds his form, but I don't think a lot of teams are going to be calling for Stamkos and Marchessault. I don't. Ryan O'Reilly seems like the guy that people are going to be calling for.
Yeah, it's true. Really quick before we move on to our last subject here, the St. Louis Blues just posted an hour ago. I don't know if you saw it.
Oh, gee. What is happening?
Jimmy Snuggling will undergo surgery on his left wrist, and Alexei Torpachenko is week to week after sustaining burns to his legs in a home incident. What's going on? Take care of yourselves, people. Stop having these little accidents. Like, what are we doing here? I know you can't. Sometimes, like, they're accidents. I understand that, but it's like, why is this all happening now? It's ridiculous.
You know,
my God.
Here's the thing, right? With Jimmy Snuggling, I think it happened during a game, by the way.
Yes, it did.
So that kind of brings me to actually a very interesting point that I wanted to talk to you about, Kyle, in general. In general this year, there have been a ton of injuries, particularly to key players, right? Like Matthew Tkachuk out until, I think, the end of this month, actually, if we can believe it.
Well, that happened during the Stanley Cup Final, but yes.
But that happened in the Stanley Cup Final. Sasha Barkov got hurt in practice, literally done for the year. That sucks, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
There's a multitude of guys that have gotten hurt. And I think I'm starting to figure out what's going on. Other than the off-the-ice issues, which I think the 3 gentlemen that have gotten themselves hurt are all idiots in some capacity or another. Like, they're all freak injuries, but at the same time...
Injuries are injuries.
Injuries are injuries. I think what we're seeing here, Kyle, is the issue that I have with moving to an 84-game season next year. There are too many games in too many days and not enough time for guys to literally rest their bodies before playing yet another one. There's too many back-to-backs. The condensed schedule, particularly this year because of the Olympics and things like that, is too much. Like, I looked at one team, I think the Rangers play something like 16 or 17 games this month. Like this month. There's 31 days in December, and you're playing more than half of the days of this month. You're playing a game. You're not given a lot of time to rest. The guys that are going to benefit from the Olympics are the guys that are not going over there and playing. Those are going to be the guys, because then they have essentially almost a month to rest, recover, and get themselves ready for the playoff push and getting into the playoffs, things like that. But with the amount of injuries that we're seeing right now, I worry that the NHL is going to, quote unquote, blame the Olympics for this, when in reality, the way that they have the schedule is wrong. And then you're going to add 2 more games next year to the regular season. You are once again creating even more of a condensed schedule. You're going to create more back-to-backs. You're going to create situations where guys are going to continuously get hurt. And the other thing is this, unless you're a diehard hockey fan, if you are a casual, you want to see the best guys on the ice. If they're not playing, those casual fans and the fans that you're trying to create are not going to watch. They're just not going to, because they're going to be like, well, I'm not going to watch the Leafs if Austin Matthews isn't playing. Oh, I'm not going to watch the New Jersey Devils if Jack Hughes is not playing. I'm not going to watch ABC team if X, Y, and Z is not playing. Sure. So it's just the NHL has to be smarter about the schedule making. They have to find a way to spread this. If that means you got to push back the Stanley Cup Finals into mid to late June, I really don't think people are going to complain that much. I genuinely don't think that that's going to be
sure. Yeah, I get it. I think if you're looking at it from a business side of it, right, you're also not putting the best product on the ice, right?
Nope.
Right? You're not.
Nope.
You're simply just not.
Nope.
Your product is not where it needs to be. So
right.
You thinking that you're going to get more games out of this, like, look at the things that can happen. Look at Jack Hughes. Look at the things that happen off the ice that are just freak accidents, right? And all of a sudden he's out for 6 to 8 months. You're not having
weeks, but yes.
Like you're right. So so the other thing, and what we're about to get into about the Olympics, if these guys go, McDavid, McKinnon, these guys start getting hurt, right? You're not putting and again, I'm not blaming the Olympics. It's the Olympics, right? I think the players should have a choice whether they want to go or not, right? I think it's up to them at the end of the day. If you guys want to go and participate in the Olympics, then that's up to you.
Right.
But at the end of the day, when you're just looking at it from an NHL's perspective, because the Olympics happen every 4 years, right? So you can't blame it. You got to be thinking, like, are you not doing yourself the benefit of giving your guys the best chance to produce on the ice? You said it with the Rangers. You have to play 17 games in 31 days with the holidays coming up here.
With the holidays too, yep.
Right?
Yep.
Like, when are you going to be able to recover, right?
Yep.
So I think it's going to be fascinating to see, like, I bet you so many guys are looking forward to February, though, because they're going to get this long break, and that's going to be very much needed. And I think in a way it's nice, right? So you're definitely benefiting from the players who are not going. Like, they're the ones benefiting because they're the ones getting this much needed break, right?
Yeah.
So in a normal year, like, you just wonder, especially next year, like with 2 additional games, like, you're just wondering, are you really putting the best product on the ice? I'm not so sure. So I want to put a pin in that, though, because I want to get into with the Olympics coming up here, because it was reported that there is no backup plan if the arena itself is not ready to go. Construction, like it says here, it's very close. It's down to the wire here. I was reading that they needed to test this last year. The ice should have been ready. The arena should have been ready last year to test to make sure it's ready to go.
Yeah.
I don't know if these guys are going to end up playing. I really don't.
You might not get it. Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be ready to go. I don't think.
And it's not just hockey, Kyle. Because if that arena's not ready, there are other ice-related sports that may not happen either because of that.
Curling coming up as well too. Like, I know curling's big worldwide.
Just figure skating,
speed
happening.
skating, right? Like, we can get into it here, but just reading about this further here. So again, there's no backup plan. Again, it's the main ice hockey arena. So whether or not I think, though, for events, and again, I could be wrong here, sounding stupid here, but I think this arena is specifically for hockey. Like, you're not going to be able to do curling there. Like, they're going to have that at different sites. They're going to have speed skating. There
is, I think, 2 or 3 other arenas that they do have that are more designed for those. This arena that's being built and that has been being built is supposed to be strictly for hockey, I believe.
So a test event is scheduled for January 9th to 11th. That is just over a month, or I think it's under a month, actually.
Under a month,
of when the Olympics are going to be going.
Yep.
So Chief of Operations Officer for the Milan Cortina told the Associated Press that there is no plan B. So necessarily we have to be able to organize the competition in an impeccable manner. The first scheduled game is supposed to be the women's preliminary round, which is supposed to be February 5th. So, like, now we transition the conversation because it matters about players' health and safety, right? And we saw, how this could transition into this. If this thing is not like with that report coming out and it's not ready to go, you wonder how many guys are kind of like, I don't even know if I really want to go to this anymore if it's not going to be ready.
Sure. I mean,
I don't know, man.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think that if you're a player in the league, whether you're a star or not, right? You definitely know about this. You know what's going on. You're not oblivious to it. You are definitely going to have second thoughts because you're also going to look at what we just talked about with the amount of injuries to guys just during the regular season of the playoffs. Granted, some of them have been off the ice, and that's weird, but that's whatever.
Sure.
You're going to sit there and say to yourself, do I want to risk playing on a surface that's probably not going to be 100% where I could get hurt and maybe be out for the rest of the year? Mm-hmm. And that puts my team in a hole? Like, it's a risk that I don't think a lot of players are going to be willing to take, especially if you're a young player who probably will have another chance. Like, I think Sidney Crosby would still do it because he's at the end of his career.
Sure.
But if you're like
McDavid,
a Tage Thompson,
McKinnon,
Makar, Quinn Hughes, Jack Hughes, Eichel, all these guys, knowing that you have a good chance of still being in your prime 4 years from now, do you really want to take that risk this year? Do you really want to do that? And the other thing is this, Kyle, and I find that this is the most fascinating thing to me, right?
Shoot.
Let's say that hockey doesn't happen. What does that mean for the NHL schedule? What happens then? Because the whole schedule that was created before the year was designed around the fact that for about a month, you don't have hockey in North America. So now do you take the games and you push them forward and try to reset everything? Or do you I don't think it's a good idea either, literally take that whole month off knowing that you're not going to be playing anyway?
Bro, the amount of revenue you're going to lose from that, bro,
you've already lost so much revenue.
You're in February. So,
yeah.
And like, I agree with what you say there too.
Preseason.
I want to look at it a bit from like an economic standpoint, right? For the Olympics and the World Cup, right? Because these are two organizations who run non-for-profit, right? So what I hate, listen, as much as I like the Olympics, as much as I like, the World Cup and when that's coming this summer as well too, right? Why the hell are we putting it in places where there's no arena ready to go? Like, there's got to be like it's not that hard. You don't need to build, like, seriously, with the Olympics here, with 16,000 seats getting made here, like, okay, what? It's going to be made here for a month and then nobody's going to use that arena. Who the hell is going to go and use that arena moving forward? I don't understand, like, in Italy of all places, like, why are you building a 16,000 seat arena when you're not, like, the only times you're going to be able to try to sell them out are if you ever get like a World Junior bid, a World Hockey Championships event.
Yep.
I don't know. Like, when are you going to be able to suffice that? I go back to, and I want to give you an example here.
Sure.
2014, when the World Cup was in Brazil, right?
Mm.
There are stadiums being used to this day as bus parking lots. They are financially in a wreck right now in Brazil, right? Yep. So I don't understand, like, it's great to have the Olympics and stuff like that, but just, like, damn it, like, have this somewhere in the US, have this somewhere in Canada, have it somewhere, go to, I don't know, go to, what else? Sweden, right? Look at the big places, like
Finland, Russia again. Well,
Finland,
maybe not Russia, but
maybe not Russia right now. Kazakhstan, for God's sakes, probably has something, right? But like for a team,
Slovakia,
right? But it's like you also knew this too, like 4 years, like however many years ago it was announced that this was going to be a venue for the Olympics. Why is this down in the last minute? What? Like, you couldn't make do you think it'd be good enough to maybe half the size of that, make 8,000 seats? Like, I think that's good enough. Don't you? Like, I just don't get it. Like, I don't know. To me, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense why they need to build a 16,000 seat arena when this is the only time it's going to be used.
Right. And I think, with the World Cup coming to North America, I mean, it's easy for North America to do it because they already have these stadiums that are still being used by other teams. So it's not a big deal for them to do that. It's easy for them. But you're absolutely right. Like it's a really frustrating situation. I think of like I think of the last World Cup that was in Qatar. The amount of stadiums that they built that are not even being used right now, and it's like, what was the point? Like, I get it if you're building a stadium or two because you need it, and then you're going to use it for other things. Fine. So it's being used more than once. But in this situation with a stadium like this in Milan, I don't remember when Milan got the approval that they were going to be hosting the Olympics, but you would have thought that they would have had a plan before they even got picked that said, this is how we're going to make everything. And this is how long it's...
So the last time that Italy had this much attention when it centers around the sport of hockey was 2006 when Torino.
Yeah.
Right? How far are you from Torino? Where's that stadium at? Like, how's that doing? Could you not just use that? Why do you feel like you have to make a whole brand new effing stadium in a country where hockey is primarily not really recognizable there, where it's more soccer and...
Yeah. The only area that Italy is known for hockey is in the north near Switzerland.
I was going to say the north.
In the mountains.
Right.
Like, that's it. There is no... Like, people in southern Italy are not playing hockey. It's just not... It's not a thing. And I'm not trying to crap on people who live in Italy that are hockey fans. I'm not. I'm just saying that comparatively to other countries, especially the majority of them that are playing in the Olympics, those are hockey hotbeds.
Yep.
Like, and I get it. It's not just about hockey, right? There are all these other sports that are happening. But I think if you would have combined like Switzerland with Italy to make this Olympic happen, you could have it could have absolutely happened.
And honestly, as much as I'm giving the World Cup credit here to FIFA, like, it's kind of the right thing to do when you're doing this Canada, US, and Mexico mix here, right? The only thing I have to say is that Toronto is not going to be ready for this. Like, BMO Field is a joke compared to all these other World Cup venues. It's a joke, and it's going to be pathetic, and I'm not going to go anywhere.
I thought I heard they were going to try to use Rogers Center for some games. No,
the field doesn't. It's not up to par. The field, no, it's not going to work.
I've seen football played there. I remember when they used to have like the International Bowl for like college football at the Rogers Center. I remember that.
Oh, and that's also where like the CFL Argos, like that's where
they played there for a while. Yep.
Back like 20 years, like 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. So I think like. Yeah, so BMO is it's ridiculous. It's not going to be ready to go. But like, back to my point, like, that's what needs to be done, right? You needed to combine Switzerland or whatever to come in and be like, hey, like, we got arenas ready to go. Like, nobody gives a nobody gives a shit. Like, just have these guys play on good ice. Don't make a whole friggin' arena where these guys aren't going to use it for the next 20 years. I don't get it. Like, it doesn't make sense. So I think, and honestly, you made a great point there. I didn't even think about it with Qatar last year too, or 2 years ago.
Oh, I mean, some countries like these countries that have an absurd amount of oil money and illegal money, if we're being honest, like they will spend it no matter what, just because like that's what all they care about is getting the recognition that like, oh, we're hosting whatever event.
Don't need to though. Like, you just don't.
I know you don't need to, but it's about power. Okay? It's about power and it's about money. I've said this before that FIFA is arguably the most corrupt organization in the world in terms of what they are about.
It is.
The Olympics is not that bad with this situation, but it's getting there when you have situations like this. Yeah. And I think that the Olympics should look at, and this is weird to say this, but look at the model that FIFA has put out for this North America World Cup. You are including not one, not two, but three fairly big countries with a multitude of areas where you can play these games. And granted, it's just one sport. It's not a multitude of sports. But if you have the Olympics, right? in North America, forget the United States. If you include Canada, United States, and Mexico into a Olympics, shoot, you literally, you have it for days. You have so many places you can take these things, and it would be great. But when you include just one area of Italy, and Italy is a fairly big country in its own right, but 3/4 of the country is in fairly warm weather throughout the majority of the year. Like, I don't get the Winter Olympics in places that are not the winter, like, that are just not winterish countries. And like,
well, again, in northern Italy, like it's different.
Yeah, but again,
besides the point,
is Sweden, but you would consider Sweden as a whole a winterish country, right?
Yeah, of course.
Switzerland, Russia to an extent. Again, Russia, that's right now it's not a good idea. But here's a great example. Again, the last time NHL players played in the Olympics, Kyle, was the Sochi Olympics in 2014, right? They already had those arenas built because they were already using them for other things. So it was easier for Sochi to be like, we can do this no problem because we already have it situated.
You bet.
When I don't want to say force, but when you have a country that isn't prepared off the bat for this and they have to create something from scratch or multiple things from scratch,
right,
you're very likely going to end up creating so much debt that it puts these countries back financially. You mentioned Brazil. They're still one of the most in-debt countries in the world right now.
Yeah.
And it's not getting any better. And so I worry. I hate saying this, Kyle. I really do, because I love the Winter Olympics in particular, and I love watching Olympic hockey. And you and I have talked about how excited we are to cover the Olympics in hockey.
Yep.
But if this doesn't improve, I would rather they not go. I would rather they not go, because this is going to be a disaster. Somebody important, Kyle, like John Tavares in 2014, when he was playing for Canada, is going to get a season-ending injury. Not like an injury where he's out a couple weeks, like a season-ending torn ACL injury. And people are going to lose it again with all of this. So,
but again, though, like it is the player's choice at the end of the day whether they want to go or not. They're the ones taking the risk, right? And the fans and the NHL want to be pissed off about it. Guess what? This happens once every 4 years. So that's the risk. Like there's a lot. Like there's risk every time you step on the ice too. Don't forget, right? There's risk every time. Like for John Tavares in 2014, right? What if it happened just before the Olympics, right? Like
there's a risk every time you step outside of your house.
Exactly, right? When you get out of bed and you crack your back the wrong way.
I mean, look at several of the NHL players who have gotten hurt, not even playing. So
So like for injuries and all that, it's everyday risk, man. Right? You cross the street wrong and you get ran over by a semi. Like honestly, but I'm just saying, like there's risk every day. Right? It's a little bit extreme, but it's risk every day. And that's just something that you kind of have to I don't like to bring into the conversation. It's like, that's something.
But it has to be mentioned. It has to.
Sure. But also too, again, like this is something these guys, like they're full well knowing going into it. There's nothing the NHL can really do about it. You can also say the same thing for the NBA and et cetera. Right. So,
and I think it's likely, Kyle, I'll be honest. I think it's likely that whatever tests they do is going to be fine. And they're going to end up continuing this anyway. But it is a concern that we're having this discussion in December. And we're like, they're not ready yet. And it's like, well, what the hell have you been doing for these last several years?
And at that point, it's like you do worry about guys going in, closer to, if it's not ready, like I wouldn't feel comfortable about sending, like if I'm Gary Bettman, this is my product, right? I wouldn't feel comfortable sending him or sending these guys over there.
Well, you saw his comments he made a couple weeks ago. He was like, "Do I got to go over there myself and grab a shovel or whatever and do it?"
Yeah,
like he was definitely pissed off because he's like, "What's going on?" Well, Gary Bettman and the Olympic Committee haven't been on the best of terms. Like the majority of the time, Gary Bettman's been in charge.
Yeah.
So, like. I'm sure the Olympic Committee wants the NHL players to come because we know the kind of attention that it brings. And I'm sure Gary Bettman in some capacity holds some of the cards here because he can basically say like, well, this isn't safe enough. I'm not sending my boys over there. It just isn't going to happen. And
And
because
full credit to him, right? If he doesn't do it.
right. And the NHL is sacrificing revenue for these guys to go over there because we have to remember the NHL doesn't really make a lot of money, if any, during the Olympics. They don't. It just isn't it's just not the way it's set up. But I get frustrated that every year when we get to this point, there's always something that's happening that is making everybody being not fully excited or confident or whatever in this happening. So
you bet. Exactly. So we're gonna hear about this very soon. Obviously, entering December. Got 2 more months till the Olympics.
Maybe we'll do another 4 nations instead of the Olympics again, Kyle.
Well, exactly right. So anyway, we got schedule looking ahead here. We got about 3 weeks until the Christmas break, which is going to be great. It's going to be super nice to have. We got World Juniors action coming up too as well, so we're going to get into that closer too. We're going to be talking more about Zane Parekh being part of the Canadian World Junior team for the Flames, so that'll be good. Other Flames prospects as well too, mentioning Cullen Potter as well, a recent draft pick who's been on here for ASU, by the way. He's going to be I would imagine he's going to be part of Team USA for the World Juniors is my guess. So I think for Flames fans, just to look forward to a little bit, I think this is a World Juniors that you should be excited for because you're going to see the full brunt of Zane Parekh. You're going to see Cole Reshny as well too be a part of this. So I think that's going to be really important for him. And like I just mentioned, Cullen Potter, who's going to be a part of it too. Another name too as well for Team Sweden, Theo Stocksilius, who's the Flames, I believe, 2nd round pick.
Yeah.
Last year, 2nd or 3rd round pick, can't remember, in the previous draft. So again, a lot of prospects to watch for the Flames coming up, and it's going to give them
potential prospects as well. I mean, guys that maybe the Flames end up taking in the draft that we look at and say, wow. I mean, I always think about in the last Olympics when guys like Juraj Slafkovsky and Šimon Nemec had great runs in the Olympics that boosted their draft stock to the point where they were the 1st and 2nd overall pick in their draft year. So
huge transition, excuse me. And then also last thing, on Parekh, he was snubbed last year of a roster spot, and now to send him there, it's going to be a huge boost for him, and to kind of be a leader for a team almost, right? In high stakes situations in which Team Canada hasn't been really that great. That's important for him as well too. And I also think just again, I mentioned it at the draft last year about Cullen Potter, this kid, and his speed and his skill set. It was second to none, and he's been really good for ASU. I'm really excited to watch him at the World Juniors for the US this year. I think he's going to be a really good kid to watch amongst others as well. And hopefully Cole Reshny has a good tournament as well. So we'll talk about that closer too. We're getting closer to the World Juniors, which should be great. So week ahead, Tuesday, you got the Tank Bowl. Can't wait to see that. And then Thursday night, they're going to be at home to the Wild. Again, 3 weeks left until the Christmas break. And then we're going to take a little bit of a break here, and that'll be all for us for the year at least. You got about 3 more episodes until the end of the year, and we'll jump back in the new year, and that's where things are going to get very interesting. We're going to have a lot more to talk about, man. It's going to be a fascinating next 2 months to watch, and we're going to hear everybody for it. So great stuff, Neil. Have a good rest of the week, and again, happy American Thanksgiving to everybody from last week who enjoyed it, and we will chat to you all next week. So thanks again.
Later, guys.
Bye.